Welcome everybody to the September City of Franklin Municipal Planning Commission meeting. Thanks for being here. We will start our meeting with the minutes from our August meeting. If I can get a motion.
Move for approval.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
No. Ayes have it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, in the audience, if there's anything you'd like to speak to the commission about that's not on tonight's agenda, please come forward and we'll listen to your comments. All right, I see none. We'll move on to announcements.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, as you may all realize, this is your first night using Granicus. Hopefully you'll let us know how it's working for you, if there are any glitches that we need to work out. I think everything seems to be working, thanks to Emily Hunter, and the rest of the staff seems to be working very well. We will continue to parallel unless you tell us you don't need to parallel. Lisa has said to us, I don't need the paper copies anymore. If you don't feel you need the paper copies, please let us know, so that just saves a little bit of paper.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Folks, you've got an agenda tonight, a consent agenda that is currently items 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, and 8. If anybody in the audience, staff, or commission would like to pull something from the agenda, let me know. If not, we'll vote on that as all in one block. I see none, then is there a motion for?
Move for approval, Mr. Chairman, with consent agenda on staff's recommendation.
Second.
Good. Thank you. All right. Any discussion? All right. Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. All right. Then we'll move to our only agenda item tonight, item number 5, Resolution 2014-68, to be entitled a resolution approving a development plan revision for the Ovation PUD subdivision. Staff?
Okay. Yes, this revision is being proposed to address 2 items: the legal description of the SDX zoning limits and the internal design of the site. An updated legal description has already been approved with the rezoning at 3rd reading, and so this is just the revision to complete the process of getting the true legal description with the development plan. And if you recall, you did review that legal description already, and again, it does not change any of the entitlements to the development plan. So. The internal layout of the site is also being modified with this revision, as well as some building shapes and heights. Specifically in the northwest corner of the site, the street network has been improved with additional connectivity and a more prominent intersection within the main entrance drive. These new streets are appropriately lined with commercial buildings and create a walkable main street-like quality to this area of the development. The major sightline into the development from the north side of the intersection of McEwen and Carruthers now terminates with the building facade rather than a view into a parking garage. Overall, within the development, heights of the buildings provide better transitions from one structure to the next. Staff does feel that 2 areas of the site should receive additional design considerations at the site plan stage: the public plaza at the terminus of the main entrance drive and the height of building A7 along the main entrance drive. In regards to the plaza, staff wants to ensure that the quality of the pedestrian experience that was present on the original plan be maintained with this revision. And in regards to the height of building A7, staff feels that there needs to be a better transition of height between the buildings fronting such a major entrance drive. However, both items can be addressed at the site plan stage if Planning Commission so chooses.
All right. Thank you. All right. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak to this item? If you would, please come to the podium. If you'd state your name and where you live, and then also if you could hold your comments to 2 minutes, we'd appreciate it.
Okay, I'm Dr. Ernest Culo. I live at 1296 Liberty Pike. I think Ovation could be a really good project. However, there is one fly in the ointment. The turning wheel, which I understand in time or sometime or other, part of the traffic coming out of Ovation, either in the residential or whatever section, will be going on to Turning Wheel Lane. Turning Wheel Lane also already has issues because Planning Department or planning allowed the thing to be made too small and inadequate, what needs to be done. There needs to be a parking lane, a bicycle lane, 2 travel lanes, which is already there, a bike lane, and a parking lane. Then again, it already has the sidewalk and the yards. Currently, no provision was made for street parking, and consequently, the people are parking out in the streets. This is causing a real major issue between the bike people and the parking, and it'll even get worse when traffic increases. I've talked to the engineering, and they were somewhat reluctant to just give me a direct answer, but they seem to think that all traffic will go out to McEwen, and when in reality, it will go on up to Liberty Pike, going left and right, and for food other than, or services other than just what's on Ovation, they'll be going over to the Publix and McKay's Mill or other. But the problem is, turning wheel was built inadequately to start out with, and now this will just exacerbate the problem. It needs to be increased in size. You've got the developer there spending the money. There's no reason the city should pick up the bill later to improve turning wheel, and the quality of the people's lives along turning wheel should be decreased. Right now, the people have already been warned that they're not to be parking out in the bike lane, when in fact they have no other place to truly park, especially if they have company of that sort of stuff. So something needs to be done to address it now instead of letting the problem get worse and worse. I unfortunately got hurt in the military. I have to travel the weather. I get to see places in other parts of the country where the planning department did not do it. Things have grown and the streets become a little nightmare where cars can hardly get 1 car down it. There's more or less 2 cars. And so that's my comment to the point.
All right, thank you, sir. Anybody else? All right, is there someone here representing the applicant?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Dwight Kaiser, representing the applicant Southstar. As Amy so eloquently described, we are here with a tweak to the plan. This is kind of the latest evolution in the specific site plan as a result of phenomenal leasing interest that has been gained and insight from the future users into things such as improving storefront exposure and things of that nature. We do believe that is an improvement to the plan. However, we will continue to refine and hopefully improve even more as we get to the site plan stage. We have reviewed and discussed all of staff's comments. We have no issues with any of those, and based on that, would request your all's approval, and I would love to answer any questions if I can.
All right, thank you. Do I have a motion before we start discussion?
Move for approval.
Second. Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Ms. Peterson?
I have a question.
Sure.
Yes, ma'am.
We saw this at the Board of Mayor and Alderman. I thought it was just changing that line, and so now I'm hearing some other things.
Well, it was a combination of changing the line
Yeah.
so that it responded to some of the
Right.
office building that was outside of the PUD. And then, that plan, when we initially submitted it, was probably 7-8 months ago. And as we have gotten very active, or my clients have gotten very active in actually sitting and working with the potential users from a leasing aspect, and continue to visit sites around the country, we saw opportunities to improve what we thought was to improve on the site plan. So we were kind of doing it all together.
I guess my real question is, does it now have to go back to the Board of Mayor and Alderman?
Yes, it does. There'll be one meeting by Board of Mayor and
Okay,
Alderman
okay. That's what
next month.
Because I think at the Board of Mayor and Alderman, we thought we were passing it contingent upon the Planning Commission agreeing to it, but it's now,
And that was only for the rezoning portion.
yeah.
Because we have 2 ordinances, and it is interesting process.
I just what
It's
was
the
my,
development plan that will go back
Right,
following the
okay.
development plan process
Okay.
rather than the rezoning that went back the last time.
right, okay.
All right, any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Is there a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.